all of you. As Mayor of the great city of Wausau, it is truly an esteemed honor for me to introduce to you Mrs. Caroline Schumann-Mark. We are very fortunate to have this time with you today, Mrs. Mark, to learn a bit more about your background, your commitment to our community, and to learn of your impact to the many causes you have held so dear, as well as celebrating your 100th birthday today.
Thank you.
First of all, what a pleasure it is to truly meet you. It's really an honor.
Thank you. It's quite an honor to be here in 2018, considering I passed away in 2002. Speaking of passing away, let me tell you about my funeral. It was quite something at St. John's Episcopal Church. The church was packed, pews, and pews. And my good friend Bill Moyers, he came and did the eulogy for me. Oh, he did a lovely job. It was written up in the newspaper afterwards. The Boy Scouts, they did the color guard. That was very special to me. And then I came out here to be put to rest next to my dear husband Bill, and it was quite a great day.
Now, you weren't born in Wausau, were you?
No, I was not. 100 years ago, I was born in New Jersey.
Okay. But how did you end up here in Wausau?
Well, it's an interesting story. My parents sent me to boarding school in Madera, in 12 miles outside of Washington, D.C., in Fairfax, Virginia. And it's there that I met a dear friend by the name of Alice Woodson. And Alice and I were best friends, and her parents liked me. And they said, Alice, why don't you go ahead and bring Carolyn home with you? So the two of us took a train from Washington, D.C. all the way to Wausau, Wisconsin, a place far, far away. And the moment I came off the train, I loved Wausau. I loved the elms that were over the streets, and their home was lovely, the Woodson home at the corner of 5th and McIndoe Street. And we would walk the neighborhood on Franklin Street and McIndoe, and then we'd go downtown Wausau on 3rd Street, and you had a real nice new hotel built called the Hotel Wausau, and I thought, my goodness, that's a large hotel for such a small city. It was great. And then we'd stop for ice cream, and then we'd stop at Janke Johnson booksellers and pick up a book, and then go back to the house and curl up by the fire, and it was wonderful. I just had such fond memories of visiting Wausau.
But that still doesn't explain how you and Bill settled here.
No, it does not. I attended Finch Junior College in the Upper East Side of Manhattan, and it's there that I studied interior design. After a brief stint as a nurse's aide, I worked as an aircraft draftsman at the Curtiss Wright Propeller Factory during World War II. It was one of my drawing classes at Finch that prepared me to be an aircraft draftsman.
Oh my gosh.
And then I met Bill, and we were married. We had 2 children, Julia and Bill, and after 10 years out east, I said to Bill, my heart is still in Wausau. How about we move to Wausau, Wisconsin? And Bill said, let's do it, and we did.
And when you arrived, you really jumped into the civic responsibility and the philanthropy when you did come here.
I did. This is my favorite quote. The greatest obligation of freedom is the voluntary assumption of responsibility. Bill and I felt it was each and every one of ours responsibility to give back to our community. Some of us had money to give, others time and talent. And whatever you had, it's good to give it back to your community.
Another favorite quote of yours, and it was from Edward Everett Hale, who I understand was one of your favorite authors from the 19th century. I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. Pretty much sums up how you believe.
Absolutely. When I saw that something needed to be done, and somebody came to me with a request, with an idea, or a request for money, I would say, that's a good idea, or that's not a good idea, or I'll give $500,000 if you give $500,000.
Let me ask you some other questions. What is your feeling about the Community Foundation of North Central Wisconsin?
Oh, I think it's a marvelous organization. I was a charter board member, and I created a $500,000 challenge match to help build a permanent endowment for the Wausau community. May I also add that I was the first female board president for them.
It's very clear that you had a passion for the arts, for children, and for education.
Yes, I hate to bore you with everything that we gave money to, but things that Bill and I really enjoyed were the expansion of the arts block. You weren't mayor then, were you? The Boy Scouts, The Marathon County Historical Society. History is so important. The Lee Yawkey Woodson Art Museum. That was Alice's family. The Performing Arts Foundation. The Center for Visual Arts. There is a gallery with my name on it. The United Way. The Women's Community. Salvation Army. North Central Technical College. The Wausau Hospital. The Red Cross. And the A. Ward Ford Memorial. Do you know about that?
I've heard a little bit about it, but could you remind me?
I will. That was something that was very special to Bill, my husband Bill, and it was research for the laser and light-based projects of research. And to this date, the Community Foundation still awards up to $65,000 scholarship for someone that applies and is granted that research. And Bill was very, very fond of this organization. And then there was the Boys and Girls Club, the Wausau Conservatory of Music, and my dear, dear church, St. John's Episcopal Church. I loved my church and my priests. The Boys and Girls Club was dedicated just a few months before I passed away. I was glad to see that happen. Gangs were on the horizon in Wausau, and we felt the need to have kids have a safe environment. And that Brian Stasinski Williams, what a cutie, what a nice young man.
Now, forgive my directness and my bluntness, but do you mind my asking where your wealth came from?
Oh, I'm so damn fortunate. My grandfather invented something of the time clock, the punch clock for the factory workers, and that later became IBM. My father was president of General Motors Acceptance Company, the financing division of General Motors.
It's also been reported to me that you and Bill had given over $12 million to different charities and different agencies here in the Wausau area. Is that correct?
Oh, I don't know how much we've given. That was Sandy Robarge's job over at the office. She took care of all the finances. I do know that it was quite a bit, though, and that the face of Wausau was changed.
Well, truly, on behalf of the city of Wausau, I want to say thank you for all your generosity and your inspiration to others. Now, I hear that there's a faculty concert over at the Conservatory of Music at 404 Seymour Street at the Caroline Mark Recital Hall. I hear there might be some other things there too.
Well, that's at 4, and then if you stay through the recital, there will be cake. So,
Excellent.
thank you.
Thank you, everybody.